The last thing we need to do is insert our object into a template, but that actually is taken care of in the homework. So if you feel like you've had enough, you can probably skip this part. But if you're curious, I'm going to go over it. The idea with the jinja2 template is we have a very flexible way to insert data into a template, and a template being static text of some sort that will always look the same, but that has dynamic information in it. And of course, this product page that we've talked about is the goal there. The product page, which I would jump to right now, but I don't have it right in front of me. The product page shows an image for the product. It has its title, it has its sale price, and its regular price and savings percentage. And all those things are showing up in the template. They're all dynamically generated. And that's accomplished by us creating a product object and inserting it into the template. Now that's what we're doing with this code. And so once you've created and successfully tested your product object, shouldn't really have any problem inserting it into the template and writing that page out to file. But we should still, if you're curious, talk about the mechanics and talk all about it. If you look at this, you can see that this is also a jinja2 template. This isn't an HTML page, this is just a text page, but it's got some of the same tokens. Here's a static token, here's a static token where we're asking for the value of a variable. Here we're asking for attributes within an object, and here we're actually using a conditional. We're saying if this variable is a particular date, then we're going to say this message. And then also as we list, going through a list, we might do a for loop over a list and be able to insert data into there as well. So what I'm suggesting you do is take this data and make a template out of it. I'm just going to go ahead and put it into a new text file and save that file in my working directory. Here I am in my session 5 working files, and I'm going to go into my templates directory. Or I think I may have already saved it. I'm going to save it as test.html. So now I have a template, and I want to keep track of what these variables are, because if I'm going to go ahead, if I'm going to want to insert data into the template, I'm certainly going to need to know the names of the variables that the template is looking for. I usually go the other way around. So the first thing we do is establish a template environment. Now, jinja2 template environment really just means the directory that jinja2 is going to use when you ask for a particular template. So what we do is we use this language, we create a template directory, or I'm sorry, we establish the name of a template directory that we want. Then we create an environment and do file system loader. It's just simply preparing the file system or it's really just telling jinja2 about this directory. Looks really elaborate what it's doing. And maybe internally it is a little bit elaborate, but all it's really doing is telling jinja2, here's where my templates are. Now if we want to insert data into the template, all we need to do is, and I guess I've got the whole answer right here, set up some variables and then get ready to insert. So you may remember that our template looks like this. It's got varname1, varname2, varname3 is supposed to be a list, and we've got obj_adder1, adder2. I guess the whole thing hasn't been done yet actually, because we need to do the final insertions and we need to know the variable names. We've got varname1. Now I think I'm going to need to, here's the name of the template file I created. Okay, so there's the template file. So I'm going to say test.html because that's what I named it. And the completed page name, I'm going to call that out.text because I'd like to see what that is. Actually, I take it back. I think it's test.text. Now we're setting up the environment and we're going to write the page, but we do need to fill out this part of the program because this is the part where we're rendering the template. We're going to send the values that we want to insert into the template. And we're going to use this format. Template var name equals template var value, etc. We're not going to use these brackets or this ellipsis. We're actually going to make it look like this. Var name 1 equals, let's say, hey there. I'm now going to remind myself, it's called var name 1. Var name 2, I'm going to make it equal to the value that it's looking for so that I can see the happy birthday message. Okay. And what else are we doing? We have a list in var name 3, so I'm going to make a list in var name 3. Okay. And what else? Object adder 1 and adder 2. Now we have an object here, and it has an adder 1 and an adder 2. We're going to need to create the new B object. And then we can insert it in the template under obj. And let's see if that gives us an error. Oh, an error, name error. Env is not defined. Where's the env? Oh, env get in. Oh, it looks like I'm missing a piece here. Maybe this needs to be inserted. We need to create our environment, and I need to do my env loader. So let's see. I didn't do my environment. Okay. This is all a little hodgepodge, but okay. I created a new jinja2 environment, and I did file system loader with, I don't have template directory, so I guess I'm going to say templates because that's where it is. And let's run that and see if we get an error. Still an error. Jinja2 not defined. Oh, we didn't import Jinja2. We'll go over all this in just a moment. Template not found. What's it looking for? Test.txt. So let's see if test.txt is actually what I named my template. I call it test.html. That was my original thought. So let's just change it and run that. And this one, it did not complain, which makes it seem like it wrote the page. May as well go and check right now. Out.txt, there it is. And we see, hey there, happy birthday to you, what up, and homie, and hello world. So it looks like the values got in there. Now let's just do a quick review of what we've done and how Jinja2 works. The whole idea of Jinja2 is we have a static page that's going to receive data. And we begin with those template variable names. And you can see that your template can be a special static, a single static token that's just sitting there. We could also have one that's dynamically being tested, like an if expression. We can also have a variable that can be looped over, so this could be a list or a dictionary or a set, and we could be looping over that, and that it's using for syntax. But you may notice that with these block syntaxes, we can't rely on the Python indentation blocks inside a template, because a template really is mostly about formatting, and spaces make a difference. So what we have is an if and an end if. In fact, the idea that I should be indenting inside this is kind of silly. I don't want extra spaces there. Maybe I want it all to be on the left margin. So I'm using these template if and end if, or for and end for, to mark the beginning and ending of our block, the conditional block or the for block. And then finally, I'm pulling out attributes the way we've done previously from an object. But let's look closely again at the relationship between the code that we wrote and these variable names. I've got varname1, varname2, varname3, and objadder1 and adder2. And if you take a look at what we have here, here's where the variable names are. Because when we call render, we are telling the template what values go where. And in order to do that, we have to use the names of the variables in our template to populate the template. And so we're using varname, var1, varname2, varname3. Now, these can be variables, but the values that we use in the argument, varname1, these names that we use in the argument, they have to match what's in the template. If they don't, we're probably going to get an error. Obviously, you don't have to have literal values here. You could put a variable named xx maybe, and that'll work the same way. But what we do want to make sure of is that the keyword argument matches the name in the template, because then we know that this is going to insert these at these names. Now what we've done again is we've established an environment, then we called getTemplate, then we did a render, template render, which renders the template. It creates the whole completed template, the completed page with all the values inserted, and then we're writing it to file. But the main thing to keep in mind is this relationship between the keyword arguments, varname1 for example, and the name of a variable, varname1. These are going to match and it's going to insert. Otherwise, the page is really designed for us to put in formatting, any other kind of styling, or whatever else we would like to put into a page, and then insert that data into the page when we do the render. And so that's why by the end we get this lovely out.txt, which has everything written up nicely.